Hi, I'm Juliet Cannell. I work for Swift. I actually run the Standards department, so this is my team welcoming you all to the Standards Forum. And ISA I've been involved with for about 6 years now, and particularly looking at ISO 28022, and I chair the operating committee of ISA.
Juliet, my favorite topic. So Giles again, actually. Juliet run the ISO 28022 working group for ISA. I work as a secretariat, so I've learned more about ISO 28022 than I thought I'd ever know. But can you explain what ISA's doing now with ISO 28022 and what the successes have been?
Okay, so maybe before explaining what we're going to do, I think probably need just to spend like a minute giving some context because it will explain what we're doing now. So I don't know if all of you know, but about 2 years ago, Giles and I put together a questionnaire with the ISA membership, which we sent out, and the idea was really to assess the appetite for a migration to ISO 20022. And we got super response, and if I had to summarize the response in maybe 3 bullet points, the first would be, right now there's no huge appetite for an industry-wide migration to ISO 20022. If we're going to spend energy looking at this, actually what we should be doing is focusing on interoperability, which is why I was happy you said you agreed. Not just at the syntax level, meaning not just between 15022, FPML, FIX, and ISO 20022, not just on those things, but also looking at some of the newer technology like APIs. Because I think someone said on the panel, we do have a tendency to wait for things to go really, really wrong before we go in.
Yes.
And actually, I think APIs is another example of where things are beginning to diverge, we're beginning to see fragmentation, and perhaps we need to get our arms around it. So they told us to focus on that. And then the last thing they said was, well, we all talk about ISO 20082, but we're not all really sure what it is or even why we should adopt it, which was kind of a bit of a lesson learned, I think, for anyone that works at Swift. So there needed to be more education. So that's what we heard. So what have we done about it? I'll take education first because that's kind of the easiest one. We've created a page on the ISA website where we've collected articles, videos, use cases, all sorts of things that talk about ISO 20082 benefits. And actually, I was reading last week, Mike Tagai, you wrote a fantastic paper on APIs and on ISO 20082. That's exactly the kind of stuff that we would like to have on our website, so everyone can read it. So that's something we've done and something we want to keep doing. On the interoperability front, we actually had a little bit of a spin-off working group. And what we did there was we decided where are we going to focus first, because it's a huge topic. S&R, settlement and reconciliation, got put to the side quite quickly because kind of STP rates are quite high. Corporate actions homed in on that fairly quickly. And again, where could APIs add value? The group have just published first findings on the website, and I believe next week there's a call on what do we do next about that. Giles and I are having discussions about whether or not we should perhaps even completely relook at corporate actions as a space, transform it rather than just do like for like. Something we need to discuss at the ISA level. So that work is ongoing. And then on the last piece, of course, is we did the survey 2 years ago. We know it's time for the next survey. So we're planning to do survey number 2 in Q1 next year. This time round, EXTA and also the ECB have read the survey and have given us input. So we're going to be surveying the industry again to see if appetite for ISO 20082 has changed, and more to come, I guess. We'll see what the results are.
Excellent. Thank you for that. So just to reiterate that slightly subtle call for arms, if people have within their firms or know from other people good ISO 20022 educational material, please send that through to me. We'll put it onto the website. There is a whole reference library of good reading for those people who are interested in ISO 20022, and it's can only get better with more input. So thank you for that. So the questions, are there any questions for ISO 20022 and what we're doing there? I'm sitting in a Swift booth. That's very scary, actually.
It's scary.
It's scary. Margaret, you look like, do you want to say something?
No.
No? Just thought you were going to ask me a question. In which case, if there are no further questions, I guess it's time to.
Oh, it's Vicky.
Oh, sorry, Vicky. Oh.
Vicky, you've got a question. No.
No, she hasn't.
That's unfair. So can I just say thank you very much to the panelists for their input. If people would like to join any of the working groups you've heard now, all the other working groups which we're also running, please let myself or Karen Zeeb know, and we can add you to those working groups. They are fun, they are educational, and the great thing is we come up with some excellent output for the industry, but it only really works if the industry inputs into those working groups, so we get the widest possible set of opinions, because that helps us get to the right answer at the time. So thank you to my panelists.
And you get a head start when you're in there.
You do.
Right?
Education as well, straight up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vivek. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colin.